Hello, everyone. This is going to be the Daily Dharma. My name's Dina. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all very, very much. And hopefully you'll get a message that will speak to your intuitive sensibilities. I've got a couple of cards showing themselves from the Archetype deck that I wanted to start out with today, and then we'll get into the other cards and the rest of the reading. So, as you see from the title, this is all about the mystic here, your ability to be clear-sighted, intuitive, instinctual, and quite in alignment with your more multidimensional self, which is more than just, as some might say, the sum of your parts. It's not about your accomplishments, perspectives, and attitudes per se. It's more about inclusion, unity consciousness that moves beyond the illusion that this little skin suit defines the entirety, right? We're talking about our interdimensional connectivity between soul to soul, between vessel to vessel, between species, between earth and sky, and the sacred conduit or the sacred bridge that we are between spirit and matter, between the imagined, the liminal spaces, and the process of the becoming, the embodiment, the materialization of the vibration. We've been talking about this so much all of this year, and so any of you that are on board with these type of messages, I really am happy to have you along coming in with this. I want to just talk about the other couple of cards, and then we'll get a little bit deeper into it. So again, the mystic is about all of that interdimensional awareness. So it comprises those of us who are the seers, the psychonauts, the old souls perhaps that identify with having some type of intuitive nature, the idea of the inclusion of and the awareness, the conscious awareness of how vibration becomes ordered into becoming. Those of us in alignment with that can really start to sense things based upon something that most of us can't put our finger on and say, oh, it's because of this one thing, because it's not about one thing. It's about the awareness, the feeling, and such as like waking up one day and having just this unshakable, different feeling that's like either a restlessness. Like I come into this reading and I don't know why, but I'm just so fidgety. I'm sitting here, I'm playing with my pants and I'm shaking it. Honestly, when I get into the channel, I often do have that channeled energy that tends to need to ground down. And I think that that's part of the message here, is that when we are in tune with all of these things that we're talking about, when we are holding open portals, for instance, or creating bridges between spirit and matter, it's like I've compared it before to, I don't know if any of you guys are Marvel nerds like myself. I don't mind being a nerd from time to time at 333. It's like this imagery where they have Thor and he's got to go to the place to replace his weapon, and he has to hold open the nucleus of a star, and he's like getting singed this whole time, but he has to hold it open for a certain amount of time in order to heat the machinery, the equipment up, and able to, or it's called a forge, which is then creating and creating the weapon. And so in this way, we can kind of look at that also as the tools that we use, the resources, our intuitive sensibilities, because that's like our sword of truth. And we can also use that as like the forging and the tempering of the body, the moderating process of the waveform that moves between polarity and extremity to define the center, because the center can't exist without extremity. If you understand where I'm going with that, the center is only defined by the polarity. It seems kind of awkward, but it's so obvious if you understand the direction of what is being shown here. And I think that the mystic sees that. It's like the center can also be altered based on the extremity. Because if the extremity starts to go towards, let's say, there's the consciousness evolution that most of us will be engaged in. And as consciousness rises, more and more individuals are rising up the vibrational ladder and holding different vibrational resonance. So if we have others descending, then this at the equal rate, then the center stays the same. But at the same time, if as we're having this consciousness upgrade, everyone is able to, well, maybe not everyone, but the majority at least is able to embody a higher consciousness, then not only are these above vibrational resonances climbing, but the lowest is also climbing, which then pushes the median over the average, the law of averages, as if everyone is charged to upgrade and the majority chooses to upgrade, the extremity, the polarity is actually moving the center. And so I guess where I'm going with that is that the people that are holding open the portal, those that are creating the openness of the heart space, the portal of the unity consciousness, the love, it's like we are pushing the mark over by the embodiment that we're creating. And although it can be quite difficult, some of the messages that tend to come through are challenging many of us to look beyond things that are, it seems to the human form that these are inexcusable, that these are intolerable. And perhaps some of these things are like, destructive murder, right? Nobody likes to see that. The wars that go on, these are destructive and terrible processes. However, we're being challenged to see from an above perspective, from that more cosmic identity that detaches from our intense emotions, to see that these are all extremity and polarity, and without the polarity we can't find our center. And with my stomach is making a lot of noise today, I apologize, you guys. But yeah, it's about, and I'm even right now as I look down, I'm seeing that brilliant center on the mystic. It's that we're being shown to look through the appearance of things into the deeper, into the liminal space where it's not about cause and effect and on the level that we would see it, and it's not about the ego matters. Let's keep going. I don't want to go off on too bad of a tangent here at the beginning. The desert is underneath. So this here, it talks about a couple of things to me. Number one, those of us who are in this human form often have various situations that show us the lack. It shows us deficits so that we can engage a core longing for something more fulfilling, more satisfying, more loving. We have to encounter the emptiness to then choose where and how and why and what we fill that liminal space with. Here is the vessel, and when we examine the center, whether it's fulfilled or not, whether we're standing side of ourselves or in our authenticity, aligned and in purpose, feeling all of these better things, it's in that we actually can fathom how it means and what it means to take up residence within the sacred center, what it means to channel the sacred light. And so in the desert, it's like we have to, okay, I'm getting the story that I recently Red, I'm not necessarily a religious individual. I consider religion and spirituality different different practices, but let's face it, every individual practices something quite unique to themselves, even if they follow others. Everybody has their own thing. So I subscribe to very little pushing as far as it comes to beliefs and saying one thing is the thing. But in the desert, it's like the I lost the tangent. It's about being in the feeling of not having enough, being separate, separation consciousness, where it's like we feel unmet, misunderstood, or without the poverty consciousness, perhaps. And it's like we witness from the moment of this severing of our connection with our biological mother, the consciousness experiences separation and removal from the warmth and the containment. Oh, I know the tangent, the story, which was the religion tangent. Something about being followers of, I think it was Jesus, and then they were led through the desert and they had no food, but he was able to create manna for them to drink or eat or something like that. So it's like the nectar, the actual flame of the divine feeding us throughout the process of separation until we get back home into the fold of consciousness, whether we see that as something that we attain in this lifetime or in some other realm beyond this one. Pick your own adventure as far as that goes. But this desert here is like being able to feed our own soul and create sacred space within the self to hold the vibrational resonance of the flame of the divine. Now I bring in that flame of the divine because when I started to record, I pulled the pile and the flame remained on the back here. So I'm going to say that these three are the themes: mystic, the flame, and the desert. The numbers we have are 21 on the mystic, 51 on the flame, and 37 for the desert. Yeah, I said I was going to get just a couple more on this one, so I'll leave that one down. So yeah, I think that overall consciousness has been going through this, let's say, dark night of the soul, this desert where we've been engaging in a lot of duality, a lot of infighting, a lot of unfulfillment and projected expectations and blame cycles. Whether or not we say that we can witness that in ourselves, as a collective, we can understand that there's been a lot of deviations and a lot of sadness and atrocity in the human dimension. But for whatever reason, I even have a little bit of an intuitive nudge to say that that's triggering for some. Yeah, we're going through growing pains here. I want perhaps that. Yeah, okay. Under the deck here now, we have the Lover. That's the 17. I sense a big part of us going through this Lionsgate portal, which we recently had at the time of this broadcast, with the shining colors. And so just to reiterate, the Lionsgate with that Infinity 8, especially this year, again, if you've been watching, I apologize for the reminders, but this year numerology was 888 because 2024 reduces to an 8. And so it was an even bigger cycle coming to a close, and reminders that every time a door closes, another one is opening. It's that vacuum that you have when one thing is shifting. There's always something taking its place. There's actually, even in reminder of the quantum realm, there is no empty space. Even this space, whatever is in my hands here, we might not be able to see it with our material eyesight, but it's full of energy. If I put my attention on this space, my fingers and my hands are tingling, and they have vast energy being conjured and channeling through with my awareness, attention, and focus. That's the law of attraction. And so the lover here, it's like we've all been challenged during this to come back around that infinity loop and keep looping and keep spiraling up. Again, with that balancing center, the center here of this mystic is again here with that swan. It's like the rebirth process, that moth process here on the mystic card is like showing through. And self-love is gathering momentum and the embodiment of our own light and our consciousness. And then we are all meant to be pushing the mark and resetting the fulcrum of balance with that. And the greater the comfort and authenticity within our process, because of the polarity and extremity, the more powerful our energy becomes, the more powerful gatekeepers that we become as we're holding open the portal of our heart, perhaps getting singed in the sunlight of the desert, that burning star energy of the sun coming through this forging, restarting the forging process. And this rebirth is like that, creating an upgraded vessel, an upgraded weapon of choice. I'm seeing that. Who's that? Who's the guy, the cowbell? Oh, I can't. Christopher Walken? Yeah, weapon of choice. Oh, that's such a good one. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to check that out. I might have to share that just for some good vibes. Oh my goodness. Yes. The two that came out were laying face down. Would you just look at that? The sword and the vessel. So the message is going in the right direction here. So, oh, and look at that. So the sword is 62 and the vessel is 69. Oh, well, that's interesting. So beyond the dirty-minded end of that, I see that as the sign of Cancer right now in the moment, and talking about how the 9 and the 6 kind of are flip-flops, and flip-flops, not like the kind on your feet, but inversions, inverted energy. And perhaps that's kind of where we're going through this portal, like that 8, it kind of spins around and things get turned on their head. Perspectives become aware of each other, and there's more of a witnessing of things, even if it's triggering for the good or bad or ugly. We can witness that not everyone thinks or feels or acts the same. And so it's like the forging of the sword of our truth, of our clarity, of our intuitive knowledge at 1818 on the counter. And then the vessel is the embodiment of our fullness and of our light. I probably can't show her. I shouldn't have shown her before, but this again with the sun imagery and this darkness, it's like the star shining through in the darkness. Yeah, to repeat myself. And then this sword, it has 2 suns and a lightning bolt and a moon. So the Lion's Gate again coming through, perhaps that binary solar system, sister solar system. Oh, and you may have had a fated meeting between sisters. Maybe you met somebody new. I know that's coming to mind for me because I did, just uncanny meeting. So anyways, that's just a side note for some of you. Let's see what else we are wanting to talk about today. A couple flipping out on the floor as usual. Gaia, number 28. So this is part of the process of upgrading the earth itself. The consciousness of this earth is being raised up with the influx of this cosmic energy. And it appears that those of us that identify with being the mystic lover here, we've got a lot of sensual energy also with this. So there could also be an awakening of an actual love relationship for some of you as well, or the urge or the telepathic bond, like belief in love or belief in whatever you're conjuring and manifesting through this Lionsgate portal by leveling up whatever way that you see fit for your process and your growth to align and center your energy for the next phase of your journey coming through is going to be the way that you clarify and stand in the center that we're seeing in the mystic and in the lover, balanced energy between cosmic and earthly identity, and also the moon's reflective solar urge and that subconscious becoming conscious, the lightning bolt of Shiva. Yes, under the deck remembrance, as I just remember something. I want to just pause. I know a few of you probably don't love it when somebody reads, but there was something on that 21, the Mystic card, and it was so beautiful. It says the seeker, light worker, dreamer. So a lot about the astral and about lives between lives and connectivity between those timelines. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. You know, perhaps people think that you're the creative type that doesn't have your feet firmly planted 10 toes down. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation, to walk through the desert, right? To come out the other side, to show the way, the trailblazers. In order to save the earth from darkness, like we're seeing in the vessel and in the sword here, and all of these depict darkness, as a matter of fact, except the lover. Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. Yes, the Manna. This is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and the latent energy behind it, and embed it with light, because you are the lover. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. Isn't that beautiful energy that you're bringing into this reading? And I do want to just check out the lover here because my hand stuck in it when I was looking for the mystic page. Gratitude pulsing through the heart, appreciating experience and experiences the world through the senses, reveling in beauty, song, art, music, sense, and sensuality. This energy awakens at the tip of our tongue when we taste the sweetness of honey, like the manna, the nectar, kiss a lover, or speak gentle words to a child. The lover lingers in foreplay, aroused not by the getting there, but by the slow merging of self and the other. So even take this less sensually and connect, the conduit of spirit into matter is also that sensual experience of the joining of the Hieros Gamos within the self, of that Shiva Shakti tantric union in the self. This energy is usually experienced for short periods of time, as in order to feel it, we must be fully present and awake with no expectations or rules about what should be. Rather, the lover is in awe of what the world presents, reveling in the glorious details, grateful to savor every last bit of its offerings. And that's what I'm sensing also now that I look back down into Gaia, and it's like remembering the sacred sensuality that is not to be confused with objectivity and materially being distracted by potentials, but by holding space. So that seems confusing to me to say it like that, but sometimes as a channel, I just have to let it come. So remembrance, what else is coming through? So it seems that this is related to getting over ourselves, getting out of our own way when we're engaging in ego, which is like so difficult, right? Because it's so easy to take score between ourselves and others, and to feel misunderstood, or like, oh, this person didn't call me back at 3 p.m. So, they must, they've done that before. Maybe they don't really like me type thing, type of, that's just an example. I apologize. But these excuses for believing that there is not enough love for us, that there's not enough mana to be created and generated through the sacred flame, that unity consciousness, that cosmic consciousness creates the mana in the desert for the mystic to hold space and temper the sacred creation of the vessel, the conduit and the bridge between spirit and matter. And the portal that we open and engage in is believing that everyone is just doing their best to love themselves. And it's not about us. So why would we take it personally? Underneath now we have transition. And this is the embodiment of the greater light quotient here. It's about the transition. It's about the wave and how the cosmic light codes come through and activate our DNA based upon the vibrational frequency that we're able to hold. And we're leveling up at this time. That one wants to come out. Empowerment. Yeah, we're leveling up. We are empowering ourselves to create that mana through the vibrational resonance that we hold. And as we activate more DNA sequences within the self, we are literally upgrading our physical body, shifting and changing our DNA, because as we know, humans do shift the expression of their DNA when they have things. We could go in so many directions, but there are various things that do shift the DNA, and we could even get into conspiracies at this point. So some of you know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to give that voice right here, right now. Allowance. Yeah, it's about how we allow it to come through. It's like knowledge is only half the battle. It's what we do with that knowledge. And so if we understand it's all about how we hold that resonance, knowing about something that is perhaps conspiracy or something that seems evil, like we were talking about, that humanity being on that cycle of being far from home, being far from love, and demonstrating infighting and duality and judgment and hate and bullying, etc. We know those things, but to empower Mother Earth, we must be aware of their influences upon our energy and upon our influences back. Are we going to engage the resistance, or are we going to hold open that portal, however it can hurt? We are the sword of truth, and we can cut through delusions. We can cut through illusions. We can stop feeding cycles that don't affirm our abundance and our love and our ability to be love and be loved is what it meant to come through. Okay. Yeah. So I'm splitting the deck here to one here. And what's this one? We have change, prosperity, and allowance. As you wish. Some kind of imagery, especially that's come through for me. Oh, and healing is right below allowance. 2 or 3 individuals that I've watched on videos recently have mentioned or referred or insinuated something about genies in a bottle type of energy. And one in particular, I'll give her a shout out. She's freaking amazing, but not for everybody perhaps, but Scorpio Spy, great YouTube channel. She has some amazing insights, and she will call you out. She does speak some truth, but take everything with a grain of salt. So she was getting that, it was a pop song I don't know how many years ago, Genie in a Bottle, you got to rub me the right way. And it's like, that might be coming through, but it's something about also this as you wish, like, dong, there was that old movie, old sitcom that was before my time, but I saw the reruns as a kid. The genie in the bottle thing. It's like there's that change of prosperity. It's like the universe is the genie in the bottle that pops out, and the universe is our mirror and is only responding to our vibrational resonance. So we're at the end of this broadcast, but what I want to say is that as we hold that vibration, as we believe and intend and take step by step proactive actions in the right direction to feed that sacred love and to channel that into fruition and believe in that, we can change our destiny. We can change and heal our DNA as we allow it. Our abundance mentality and the literal material wealth will start to present in our lives. And it already is. We only need to look at the evidence in our hands. And if they appear empty, look again. Look with your second sight, because you are the mystic channeling the manna, and the manna is presenting in your hands as we speak. So I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'm wishing you so much energy for the next leg of your journey. And I hope that you got something out of this reading. If you did, please do consider hitting some of those buttons on the screen to help us grow the channel and get the message out there. And if this is where we part, take good care of yourself. Sending you so much love and gratitude. Until next time.